Patriots fans, the moment this latest game wrapped up, it felt like the entire fan base took a deep breath at the same time, because this team keeps finding ways to win even when the night gets messy. When you look at a record of 10 wins and 2 losses, with every single road trip ending in celebration, it tells you something special is happening inside that locker room. The performance was far from perfect, the rhythm of the game was strange at times, and a few plays definitely made every fan lean forward on the couch. But winning on the road in this league is never easy, and doing it 6 times in a row speaks volumes about the mentality of this group. The tone of the night shifted quickly, especially when those injury scares hit and everyone watching felt their stomach drop. When Will Campbell went down, and moments later Jared Wilson followed, the first reaction was pure concern. You could almost feel the anxiety spreading across the fan base, because losing 2 key pieces that suddenly is the kind of thing that changes the entire direction of a season. But as the first reports began to circulate, the mood started to turn. Early evaluations suggested that both injuries were sprains rather than something more serious, and that tiny bit of optimism immediately brought life back to the conversation. It is still pending full confirmation, but the idea that neither injury appears long-term is a massive relief, especially when you consider the timing. With a game against the Giants coming up and then the long-awaited bye week finally arriving, the team may be able to get through this stretch without suffering permanent damage to the roster. The Patriots have gone through the season healthier than many teams around the league, but this week hit hard because it felt like all the bumps landed at once. Campbell, Wilson, Sheeler, Tonga. It was one of those weeks where you walk into the room and get blindsided before you even know what happened. Still, if both linemen truly escaped with sprains, that completely changes the outlook for the next few games. And speaking of the offensive line, the moment Ben Brown stepped in, he brought a level of steadiness that should not go unnoticed. Watching him fill that role with confidence, while Verdarian Lowe provided depth from his experience, was an encouraging sign for a group that faced sudden adversity. Even with the shuffle, the Patriots allowed only 1 sack the entire night, something that stands out when you realize how chaotic the situation could have been. Nobody is pretending that losing Campbell and Wilson, even temporarily, is ideal. Any fan would prefer both starters on the field, opening gaps and protecting the quarterback. But given the circumstances, the line held strong, and sometimes that is exactly the kind of resilience that separates contenders from pretenders in the second half of the season. And while we talk about resilience, there's also Mike Vrabel's message echoing in the background, reminding everyone what this league truly demands. You need everyone. It is a grind. The season stretches on, opponents get tougher, injuries pile up, and records mean nothing the moment the ball is snapped. It was not a glamorous win, and it certainly did not match preseason predictions when people looked at the matchup and marked it as an easy blowout. But walking away with a 6th straight road victory is proof of something bigger than style points. It is the sign of a team learning how to close out games even when the performance is uneven, and that is often what defines a strong season. And while this game had its ugly moments, it also delivered some highlights that deserve attention. Marcus Jones jumping that route for the pick 6 was one of those plays that instantly flips the energy of the entire game. Joe Flacco held the ball too long, stared down the flat, and Jones read it like he had been waiting for it since the opening kickoff. The moment the ball left Flacco's hand, Jones was already breaking forward as if he knew exactly where it would land. If you froze the frame right after the release, you would swear Flacco realized his mistake before the ball even reached its halfway point. It was the perfect bounce-back moment after Drake May's earlier interception, a throw he definitely wanted back the second it left his hand. The rookie has been impressive all season, but that particular decision was not one of his finest. Still, quarterbacks bounce back, and the defense did its part to flip momentum again. Another storyline that deserves recognition is the performance of Andy Borgelis, who stepped onto the field like someone who had zero interest in giving anyone a reason to doubt him. For field goals, including a booming 52-yarder, is exactly the kind of statement a young kicker dreams about making. Not long ago, fans were wondering if he was the long-term option, questioning the consistency of the position. But nights like this one are how you shut down conversation. You walk onto the field, You do your job with precision, and you make yourself an automatic part of the identity of the team. Specialists are supposed to disappear into the rhythm of the game, not by being irrelevant, but by being reliable enough that nobody worries when their number is called. Borgelis delivered exactly that kind of night. There were other flashes on offense as well, even in moments where the unit struggled to find a rhythm. Kyle Williams may have had only one catch, but it was the kind of crisp, explosive route that shows exactly why the coaching staff continues to push him into game situations. The 10-yard dagger route he ran was executed with perfect timing, and every time he touches the ball, he shows the kind of athleticism that makes you wonder how much more he could contribute as he earns more snaps. Hunter Henry also stepped up with a strong performance, becoming a consistent target with 10 looks, 7 receptions, over 100 yards, and a trip into the end zone. And even though Keyshawn Bout did not secure the touchdown he was aiming for, drawing the pass interference at a crucial moment helped keep the drive alive, showing that his presence still matters. Defensively, the team once again proved why this unit continues to carry the identity of the Patriots. Giving up only 13 points defensively is the type of performance that stabilizes the entire roster, and it allowed the offense enough breathing room to figure things out even when execution was shaky. Carlton Davis came through with key breakups. Marcus Jones continued to show his versatility and instincts, and the overall effort made it clear that this is a defense capable of setting the tone every single week. A 26-20 final score does not tell the full story of how controlled the defensive performance truly was. The group allowed only one legitimate touchdown and forced Flacco into mistakes that altered the flow of the game. When this defense plays at this level and the offense eventually clicks into gear, this team becomes dangerous, especially heading into the late season stretch where every possession matters more. Now, while we can celebrate the highs, we also need to talk about the frustrating parts of the night because there were plenty of moments that left fans shaking their heads. Drake may have had stretches where he looked a bit off rhythm, missing throws he normally nails, and the run game hit long stretches where nothing seemed to open up. Watching the team go 0 for 2 in the red zone was painful, the kind of sequence that makes you want to shout at the screen because finishing drives is something this team has to get better at immediately. It was not a play-calling disaster. It was more about execution falling apart in the most important moments. Whether it was the failed push at the goal line, the hesitation on the rollouts, or the missed opportunities for a simple power run, those sequences need serious attention moving forward. The offense cannot keep settling for short field goals in situations where a touchdown should be automatic. Patriots fans, as we move deeper into this breakdown, it becomes impossible to ignore how this game captured the full spectrum of what this team has shown throughout the season. Moments of brilliance, moments of frustration, and stretches where the identity of the group becomes crystal clear even when the execution falters. And if we're being honest, the red zone issues were the kind of thing that lingered long after the final whistle. Every drive that stalls inside the 10-yard line feels like a punch to the gut, especially in a game where the Patriots controlled the tempo and had every opportunity to put it out of reach early. You could sense the irritation on the sideline, not because the team was unprepared, but because the mistakes were preventable. Whether it was a missed block, a hesitation on a read, or simply failing to finish a run with power, the tiny details in those moments added up to a pair of empty possessions that should have changed the scoreboard. And the fans felt it too, because when you watch a team sustain long drives, dominate field position, and then walk away with nothing, it becomes the kind of sequence that stands out long after the highlights fade. But even in those rough moments, there was something revealing about how the team responded. Drake made it not shy away from the mistakes. He came back slinging, adjusting, and showing the kind of competitiveness that defines young quarterbacks trying to carve out their place. The kid has had nights where every throw looks effortless, but this time he had to grind through moments where his timing was off and his reads looked rushed. Still, even on a night when he struggled, you could see flashes of the player he is becoming, especially on that 12-yard scramble where he avoided pressure, turned upfield, and fought for extra yardage as if refusing to let the drive die. Plays like that remind you that development is not linear. It is messy, it is uneven, And sometimes the most important steps forward come on nights where nothing feels comfortable. Watching him continue to battle, stay poised, and trust his teammates says as much about his future as the perfectly placed throws he has delivered earlier in the season. And speaking of teammates stepping up, the rotation of running backs brought a mix of highs and lows that still leaves room for optimism. Ramondre Stevenson did not get the involvement many expected, and there were moments where it felt like the running game was trying to find a spark that never fully arrived. Still, each back contributed in short bursts, even if the production did not stack up the way fans hoped. There was one sequence where it looked like the lane had opened perfectly for a goal line punch, only for the defense to collapse instantly, leaving everyone wondering what could have been done differently. Football is a game of inches, and nowhere is that more apparent than when your offense has the ball inside the 2-yard line and still walks away empty-handed. That is the type of situation this team has to resolve before the competition ramps up in the final stretch of the season, especially with divisional matchups looming. And while the defense held strong, special teams also left their stamp on the game. Beyond Andy Borgala's flawless performance, the unit controlled field position with smart coverage, disciplined tackling, and just enough explosiveness in the return game to tilt the momentum at key points. Kyle Williams, even with limited touches on offense, made himself valuable in the return game by attacking open space with confidence and forcing defenders to take uncomfortable angles. Field position is something fans sometimes overlook, but in tight, grinded-out games like this one, it becomes one of the silent factors that shape the entire narrative. Every time the Patriots forced the opponent to start deep in their own territory, it gave the defense a longer field to work with. And every time the offense inherited decent field position, it set up opportunities that eventually led to points, even if they were not touchdowns. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. A whisper began circulating through league circles late last night, the kind that starts as a joke, then lingers long enough to make everyone a little uneasy. According to several unnamed insiders, Tyreek Hill, one of the most explosive players in football, may be on the verge of an unthinkable move, walking away from the Dolphins and positioning himself to join their longtime rival, the Patriots. The rumor has spread so quickly that some observers insist something real must be unfolding behind closed doors, even if no official word has emerged. Nothing about this makes sense on the surface. Hill has been the face of Miami's offense, a player whose personality and skill have shaped the team's identity. Yet people who claim to know someone who knows someone close to the situation insist that friction has been simmering. The buzz suggests dissatisfaction with internal dynamics, concerns about long-term direction, and a desire for a fresh challenge in a place no one would ever expect. And when that place happens to be New England, ears naturally perk up. What truly fuels the rumor mill is the idea that the Patriots, long regarded for their quiet but decisive roster maneuvers, may have already reached out through back-channel communication. Some believe Hill is intrigued by the possibility of redefining himself in a system that, despite recent struggles, maintains a mystique rooted in discipline and reinvention. Others say he simply wants to shock the entire league, leaving Miami fans stunned and rivals scrambling for explanations. For now, the story lives in the shadows, uncertain, unverified, yet impossible to ignore. Coaches avoid the subject, teammates shrug nervously, and analysts argue whether this is pure fabrication or the first tremor of a seismic shift. Whatever the truth may be, the mere possibility of Hill in a Patriots uniform has already sent shockwaves through both franchises, turning an off-season whisper into the loudest rumor in the sport. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.